Back here on the radio with you once again from the studios of Wildcats Radio 1290 and now streaming across the universe. It's a Rich Rare radio show. Today's Wildcat Wednesday. It's one of my favorite times of the week. We sit down and talk with some of the Arizona Wildcat greats. Today on the program, because I took yesterday off, had a little vacation time, kind of needed to get away and just decompress. Woosah. 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 I wonder if I could do yoga.
Well, you got
Would I be good at yoga?
You got one of Brett Boone's new friends, DDP, does a lot of yoga, so you could do some DDP yoga.
Woosah. Like on my Apple Watch, it tells me every once in a while, breathe.
Yeah, we all need to be reminded about that every so often.
Yeah, if not, you go.
Anyway.
So anyway, took a couple days off. Family came to town, relaxed. We'll talk about that. But now it's time to get back to work. So today's Wildcat Wednesday. It's brought to you by PGA Tour Superstore. We'll talk about them coming up on the program. But we sit down and we talk about the traditions that made the University of Arizona such a special place. Now, since normally we have a conversation with Dave Hickey on Tuesdays, we weren't able to do that on Tuesday, so we'll do that for you today. So we'll hear from the athletic director of the University of Arizona. We'll talk about the spring football game. Tennis is blowing up and everything else going on at McHale Center. So that's scheduled for the bottom of the hour. Also, I don't know if we got confirmation. I think Brian Jeffries is going to join us on the program today.
He should. I'm going to go ahead and make sure we get the double check.
If not, I'm walking away. I'm going to let you talk for 20 minutes.
I'll do what I can. I'll do my best.
We tried that before. How did it go?
It didn't go well.
No, I'm just looking at you on the Dragon Ball cam. It's like, okay, we'll see what happens. So anyway, all that's scheduled today. But I do want to talk a lot about the spring football game. I went out there on Saturday, so we'll get into that on the program with you. And anything else that kind of pops up today, including our big story and, like I said, our conversation with Dave Hickey. So, with that being said, I'll remind everybody, we're coming to you live from the studios of Wildcats Radio 1290. They're sponsored by Casino del Sol. Sol Sports, bet easy, win big, bet local. Casino del Sol. I did need a little time off, though. I was a little tired. I slept a lot. I got caught up in my sleep. I worked last Thursday and Friday on the network, so that never helps when you have to work till 3 in the morning. So I decomposed.
You might want to say decompress, because decompose would imply that you were dead.
I felt like I was dead at one point. But we went down to Tombstone for a little while. That was fun. We went to the spring game. It was just nice to relax in Tucson for the weekend. Anyway, we did all of that this weekend, but now I'm ready to go back to work. Like, I have a hard time relaxing. Oh, by the way, I got to tell you, I met the coolest family ever on Saturday. Talon's my new best friend. Met this kid at Mr. On's on Saturday. Coolest kid ever. I think he's in the first or second grade. Biggest Wildcat fan you'll ever meet in your life.
Now, the kid's name is Talon?
Kid's name is Talon.
Okay.
He was the coolest. I invited him. I told him, hey, come down here and hang out with us at the studio. I offered him your job.
Well, I mean, I could probably show him how the buttons work, and he'd probably be able to smooth right in.
Oh, no. He was ready to take my job.
Oh, you're okay.
Yeah. So, anyway, we had a great time meeting him and his family. Huge fans. Although they're a
oh, no.
family divided. Dad's from Tucson. Mom, not from Tucson.
Ooh, she wouldn't happen to come from a little town called Tempe, would she?
Yep.
Ooh,
But
that's always brutal.
Son, 110% bleeds red and blue. 100% a Wildcat. So I invited them all to come in to hang out with us in the studio one day. So hopefully we'll be able to do that pretty soon.
Yeah, see if they can go ahead and take the opportunity.
It's a big deal. We don't really invite anybody to come hang out. I barely invite you to hang out.
I mean,
by the way, that's Dragon Ball, everybody.
Yeah, the only reason why I end up coming in is because they pay me to come in.
Exactly. Exactly. All right, so let's get after it. How many people went out to the spring game? They didn't sell out. They had the Zona Zoo was full. There were plenty of fans, and they all were covered as much as they could. So the seats that were full were ones that were in the shade.
In that heat, you almost have to, though.
Oh, I stood in the shade. I wasn't going to stand.
Yeah.
I found a spot. In the end zone underneath a little overhang. I stood with Glenn Howell, and I brought my nephew with me, and we stood underneath an overhang with a little bit of shade.
Right.
With whatever shade we could find. We had to. It was sweltering in the sun.
Mm-hmm.
Sweltering in the sun. But nonetheless, it was a good afternoon. Lots of people in the Zona Zoo, or the Splash Zone, I guess is what they called it. I got hit by a water balloon, and then took on some kids that had squirt guns that were squirting me as I walked by. It was fun. Jed Fish and the players were over there hosing down the crowd.
I am glad you mentioned this because I don't think I said it on the air.
What's that?
On Friday when we left. I was thinking to myself, I don't think I said this on the air. I was thinking to myself, it would be a really good way to incentivize people to come out. Water gun fights, water balloon. Bring your own water balloons, bring your own water guns, and just have a good time. And the fact that I saw that happened, I thought to myself, somebody either took my idea or that idea was already there, and I tried to look like the smart guy.
So you are a marketing genius.
Apparently.
You are a marketing genius because the Zona Zoo was out there in full effect with water balloons and squirt guns, and a good time was had by all. They were giving away prizes for the folks that came out into the Zona Zoo. Plenty of fans were there, and then a ton of alumni, I believe 240-plus alumni came back for the game, and you'll hear from Dave Hickey here. They came from all different classes, so it wasn't just Greg Hansen from the paper. Just wasn't Dick Tomey's class coming back. There were classes from way back that all came through to be part of the festivities.
Right. I mean, it was a lot of alumni. A lot of alumni were there, both old and new. I mean,
which tells me they're invested.
Yes,
which
absolutely.
tells me they're invested, and I think that's important. And it's important for different reasons because I think they can help. Number one, give you a sense of who you are if you're an Arizona Wildcat football player, but they can also help open doors up for you with NIL deals if they're businessmen in town or throughout the state. They can also open up the doors because, if you're a football player, chances are you're still involved in football in some small way, shape, or form. Maybe you're a coach. Maybe your kids play. Maybe you're a booster. You're involved in somehow, some way because it's your life. It's your life passion of football. Mm-hmm. So having those guys come back and be invested, I think, is a big deal for Jed Fish and the football program. So I hung out with Glenn Howell on the sidelines in our little piece of the corner. We hung out for the first half. And Kelvin was there. Saw him for a little bit. So it was a good time. Standing out there, a good vibe to the game. Didn't try too hard. They just kind of said, this is a spring game. It's almost a football festival with the water balloons and everything else, getting people there at that time. So it was nice to have everybody invested in the football program, all of the alumni that came out, all of the families that came out, the players and everybody that worked hard during spring football. In fact, here's Jed Fish. If you can give me cut 10, Jed talked about the number of alumni that contacted the school, registered, and came out for the event.
Yeah, I think we had 260 signed up, 260 that registered yesterday that were here in Tucson, which last year we had 170. So I think we're up 90 or 180 last year, so we're up 80. And then hopefully there were some other guys. Obviously, our team from last year, they didn't register, and they were all at the game. So I guess they count too now. Stanley Berryhill was the only one that registered. As usual, does everything right.
Stanley Berryhill was out there. I saw Trunk Candidate out there. Khalil Tate came by. I saw Bryce Wolma. So it's kind of fun watching the older players, the younger players all interact. I was surprised how many former coaches were there. I thought that was really interesting, seeing former coaches come out to the spring game. But as Jed said, over 260 had registered and came out. It's cool. They have name tags that they give them now. So if you're an Arizona football alum, it says Arizona letter winner with a name tag. So they can wear it and people kind of look and see, who is that? Oh, wait a minute. That was Trung Candidate over there. We got a real nice picture of Kelvin and Trung, and I think we tweeted that out over the weekend as well. So it was fun to see all of that. And to have that kind of buy-in from the football program and the alumni, which had been so disassociated, almost disassociated would be disconnected is probably the better word. From the football program for so long. So to see them come back was a lot of fun. And more importantly, I think it shows that they have Jed's back. Now, year 2, and we're going to talk about this coming up in the program, we're going to ask everybody, are you buying and selling Arizona football over the last 365 days? Because it's been a year since Gronk came, caught the pass out of the helicopter. Now we're 365 days into it. Now we're not selling rainbows and orange sherbet ice cream and unicorns and puppy dogs. Now it's got to be about results with San Diego State, Ole Miss, North Dakota State University, plus the Pac-12 out on the horizon for football. What you got for me, Jed? Because now it's time for progress to be made. Can they get to 500? I'm not sure. We'll probably talk about that later in the week. But let's take a look at where we've been over the last 365 days. We're going to do that coming up on the program today as well. You want to comment if you're out there, I'd love to hear from you. 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. Game was on Pac-12 Network. Ted Robinson and Yogi Roth called the game, and then they went up to Tempe and did their game that night. How come we got the day game, they got the night game?
This is a constant issue, it seems like, for Tucson, doesn't it? Because, like, how many
market?
How many afternoon games did Arizona have versus
bigger
the
market?
Game? Well, yeah, obviously.
Phoenix is going to get the
lion's share.
The lion's share. It's a bigger media market.
Yeah,
it's a bigger television market, so you're going to go where you can. But I thought anyway, it was just a good outing for everybody involved out there. So if you're out there and want to hear your reaction, 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. Program brought to you in part today by Trajan Wealth. Their number 321-4100, 321-4100, or go to TrajanWealth.com, TRAJAN Wealth.com. It was kind of interesting when you saw all the players out there from generations. And I was thinking about this as I was just looking at this, the number for Trajan Wealth. Think about how different generations have had to attack their investments. You know, it used to be years ago, you work 30 years, gold watch, pension, you're set for life. That's not the way it is anymore. Nobody stays at a job for their entire career. Sometimes even if you want to stay at a job for your entire career, they don't want you. They go on, they move, things change. So you better change. And you better be prepared. And you better have someone to have your back, because you're not going to be able to rely on that company pension, that gold watch when you turn 65. What you need is to sit down with a financial planner, and you need to map out how you're going to take care of yourself, what you need to do, what your priorities are. Do you want to travel the world? Great. Do you want to make sure that your house is paid off? Great. Do you want to make sure you leave something for your kids? Great. Do you want to make sure you take care of your grandkids' education? Great. You could do all of that by sitting down with someone who's a financial advisor. Not all financial advisors are the same. Some get paid a commission to sell you a financial product. Others are fiduciaries, like my friends at Trajan Wealth. You agree to a small upfront fee. They get paid when they grow your portfolio and reach your goals. They have a vested interest in your success. You guys are playing for the same team. They're your partner. They're your teammates, and they have your back. If you don't have that with your financial guy, maybe it's time you take a look at Trajan Wealth. Here's their number, 321-4100, 321-4100, or go to TrajanWealth.com, TRAJAN Wealth.com. Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. All right, I do want to bring up a couple things. Baseball, we'll touch on it for just a moment. And then this was kind of cool. I got a little bit of a new perspective of what kids think when it comes to what schools they want to pick. I'm going to share a story with you. I brought my nephew with me. He hung out this weekend on campus. Kid had never heard of the University of Arizona. When they got to town on Thursday, by Sunday he was begging me, hey, no, I'm sorry, by Tuesday, no, they left yesterday. Yeah, yesterday he was like, hey, Uncle Rich, can I go buy another Arizona T-shirt to take back to California? We'll talk about that next here on Wildcats Radio 1290. Rich Herrera Radio Show rolls on here on Wildcats Radio 1290. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Rich Herrera. That is, of course, the Dragon Ball. I'm so rude. I didn't even ask how your weekend and mini vacation was.
It was pretty good. I went ahead and got to spend a little bit more time with the lady friend, and we got to enjoy that.
Listen, can you hear, folks, listen to him brag. I spent time with my girl.
You're with your wife all the time. You always talk about being
I'm
with
married. I have to.
That's the worst way of viewing it.
What? You're married. It's kind of a... Listen, I don't have to worry about having a date on New Year's Eve. I know where I'll be.
Oh, but it's a privilege to have her in your life, is it not?
Yesterday, she gave me errands and told me to get out of the house. I was bothering her.
That's a privilege.
It is?
Yeah, pressure's a privilege, is it not?
Pressure is a privilege. And being married to me,
That's
for
a
that
pressure.
poor girl, is pressure every single stinking day of the week. Yeah, all of this comes with the price, folks.
It does.
All of this comes with a price.
And it's an expensive price.
So what did you do on your little soiree?
Well, for the most part, let me
You
go
guys
ahead and
talk?
Yeah, we
spend time together?
we
Did you talk
talk.
about your feelings?
Yeah, talk about our feelings.
So soft. You're so soft.
Yeah, kind of a little bit. I'll
Oh,
admit
let me
that.
talk about let's talk about her feelings.
Yeah, we ended
Oh.
up, for the most part, just watching a new show that she was really interested in, and so I ended up catching up on it. For those that
So you've already lost the remote control.
Oh, no, we share shows. I had suggested
Nobody
a show
shares
earlier.
shows.
No, I shared
What
a show.
what
the first
show
time.
do you share?
Well, I told her we should try to watch Boba Fett. That was
Okay, that's good.
yeah.
That's good.
So
Okay, I like that.
We started watching. We got like the first 6 episodes.
But you
down.
realize there's some. No, Boba Fett's safe.
Yeah, Boba Fett's safe.
Boba
It's fine.
Fett's safe
It's
is a
action.
safe. Well, I mean, there's some touching moments in there.
Yeah.
And then everybody goes, "Ooh, look, Baby Yoda."
Get to see the little bit of the Mandalorian when he comes back. in the show
Mandalorian comes into it. Yeah. Okay, that's good then.
So yeah, I suggested we go ahead and we give that a shot since they're going to be coming out
Good.
with some new stuff. And then the show that she suggested, and we actually it was pretty quick, only 13 episodes. We got all the way through it in like
So you
2
binge
days.
together?
Oh yeah, we binge watched together. For those that I'm about to let the nerd flag fly really high right now. We watched.
Wow, that's a shocker.
We watched the D&D inspired The Legend of Vox Machina. Yes,
I don't even know what that is.
Dungeons and Dragons. It's an animated TV show about a Dungeons and Dragons campaign.
I didn't realize they had campaigns.
Yes, they do. If you can get in a D&D group, that can last sometimes like 8 months for like a single group of characters and things like that. It can go a while.
Would you believe it if I told you I've never played Dungeons and Dragons?
I wouldn't be surprised, considering that, again, for the most part, you talk about doing like the nerd stuff, but I feel like it's more so like you dip your toe in it, like for the sci-fi stuff especially. But like tabletop, I don't think that's something that you would be all that interested
So
in.
what do you do?
Well, no, you make your
So
character.
I've seen it on Big Bang Theory. You roll dice.
Yeah, well, you roll dice, you build characters and things like that. But like the show itself is just mostly. But the show itself is just kind of taking this one.
No. But
group
if
of-
I was going to play Dungeons and Dragons with you, I'd roll the dice.
there's a lot to it because you have to pick your character's race. Are they dragonborn? Are they human? Are they elf? Are they dwarf? Then you pick
Who
their
are the
background.
best?
Oh, that's all a matter of interpretation. There's no such thing as best or worst. The beauty of it is that you can explore with whatever it is you want to do. That being said, I'd imagine you would probably not be a terrible bard.
What's a bard?
A bard is a singing or speaking spellcaster.
I am a bard, spellcaster extraordinaire. I cast a spell upon thee to be cool. Darn, it didn't take.
It's going to take about a level 9 spell to do that with me.
I am a level 9 spellcaster, and watch me cast a spell upon thee. Hickory dickory dock. The mouse went up the clock. The clock struck 2. I better be careful because I don't know where else I can go with
that. You
that.
don't know where that's going to go, but no,
I don't think I can play.
But no, it's.
Would I get frustrated? Because you know how impatient I am. I'd get frustrated, wouldn't I?
What's that?
Would I get frustrated?
Depending on how your night goes, it can definitely get frustrating. There are just some days where you're just not lucky with rolling dice, or the guy that you're playing against in the Dungeon Master is just lucky all night and thus ruining the entire game.
Well, is there a chance that fisticuffs could fly?
Oh, there's been a lot of chances.
So, like, you'll have Dungeon and Dragon crews that bust out and fight?
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever?
I've never seen it. I've heard it. It really depends on how good the group is. How
Did
good the
you
players
hear
are.
that elfin character just got tired and he took down that dragon character with a swift kick to the knee?
Nice little shin kick underneath the table, yeah. But yeah, that's what just watch the show, and that was it for my weekend.
Is there a
and stuff
way
like
that you could incorporate beer into playing Dungeons and Dragons?
I mean, you can drink during the game.
Like if I roll a 6, can I drink?
You can drink without needing to roll.
If I get drunk, would I be bad at it? Would I lose? And by the way, how do you lose?
Well, you lose by having your character die, and then you got to remake a new character. And you can't utilize the character that already died. That character is gone.
So how does my character die?
No, they just run out of hit points. Like once you get into battles, if you get hit.
Oh, so I'm going to fight.
Yeah, you fight. Yeah, that's what the dice are for. Depending on what your actions are and things like that, the different dice, different sided dice are used and things like that. And if you eventually get hit too many times.
Okay, anyway,
you die.
University of Arizona played this weekend against Washington State. They lost 2 out of 3. Came back and won last night against, I'm sorry, I couldn't go there anymore. I tried to go as long as I could. I just couldn't go there anymore. Beat New Mexico State last night. Interesting, Dragon Ball. They're playing Thursday, Friday, Saturday against Utah, but they're day games.
They're day games, and we just got done lamenting about how the U of A had a day game for the spring game, and now they got day games for the baseball
But this
weekend.
is in Utah. I don't even know what the weather in Salt Lake City is. Can you look it up?
I'm assuming it's probably better than what it is right now for us because it's been either very hot or very windy.
This is our
for us
last
recently.
cold. This is our last cold snap, I'm told. Then after this, it's time to go swimming.
Yes.
Darn, I keep hitting the microphone. See, I keep touching it and I keep hitting it. Not my fault this time. I didn't break the microphone this time. Anyway, so that'll go on this weekend. I was going to share this with you real quick for those of you that are interested.
Ooh.
Go ahead.
So you're saying that the games are, like you said, it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday for the weekend series. So Thursday, it's looking like there'll be a 52 degrees.
Ooh.
But 8 p.m. is when the showers are going to kick off. And then they're saying on Friday, it's going to be cloudy again, 53 degrees with a chance of rain.
Oh.
And Saturday, just as much a chance of rain, but it jumps up to a 61-degree day. So that, I would assume, is a lot of humidity probably.
Oh,
and
that's not going to be fun.
That's going to be brutal. If it ends up being that they have to play a doubleheader on Saturday because it rains out maybe, I mean, who knows?
No, you can at least stay there all afternoon.
You could.
It's a morning game.
You could. I'm hoping for their sake it doesn't rain out. That would be a terrible way to go ahead and spend the weekend.
Negative Nelly. Just because I've made fun of your Dungeons and Dragons game.
No, I don't play. I just watch.
Have you ever played?
I've attempted to play on occasion.
You've been in a Dungeons and Dragons crew.
I've
attempted. How do you tell your dad? Hey, Dad,
he played.
Dad, I got some bad news for you. I just got patched into a Dungeons and Dragons crew.
Well, he would tell me about how he would the best ways to build a dwarf character if I made a dwarf, because he actually played back when he was in high school. But okay, so yeah, no, the Friday is.
Oh, I go back to the dwarf. Why would you pick a dwarf?
My dad says the dwarves are the best characters.
What was your character?
For me, I just.
And by the way, you just lied because your voice went up 4 octaves. Hey, my dad said.
Well, I said I lied because again, it's all a matter of preference. But I'm also a big fan of dwarves in fantasy settings. But in regards to the shower thing, so Friday.
No, what was your character? What kind of character?
My character was a human. I just went with a basic human fighter when I first tried out.
Was he like all ripped and?
No,
was he all swole?
I was more of a dex character, so I was more dexterity than strength, so more speed.
Okay, speed kills.
Speed kills.
So you were the Flash.
I wouldn't go so far as say the Flash. I was.
Now I would think about playing Dungeons and Dragons if it could be like athletes or superheroes. I'd play that version.
There's tons of different versions of tabletop.
So if you were to be a Dungeons and Dragons athlete, who would you want to be? Or if you had an athlete that was going to be in Dungeons and Dragons, who would you want? Aaron Judge?
Aaron Judge, that's a pure strength build.
Strength, he can run. He can bring his baseball bat.
I would have to think about this. This is an interesting idea.
Ray Lewis, football player.
Oh, Ray
Gronk.
Lewis. Yeah.
Gronk could do anything.
Yep.
Gronk would be a great, what do you call it, tabletop game?
Tabletop role-playing. But
Gronk would be awesome.
This is the thing. Gronk would have a lot of points in a lot, because you got like strength, dexterity, intelligence, things like that. Intelligence would probably be the least of his skills that he would focus on.
Well, only because he's so powerful in everything else.
Yes. No, he's a perfect barbarian character.
But he's a pretty bright guy.
No, he's smart.
He was on Shark Tank. They gave away his Shark Tank thingy this weekend.
Rob Gronkowski is a very smart man.
Yes.
The Gronk is not. And you know what? He could make a character named Gronk.
The Gronk, yeah.
Maybe like a half giant.
The Gronk would be an amazing, what do you call it?
D&D character. You'd be a great half giant barbarian. That would be absolutely what his character class would be.
Yeah. Dude, Gronk would be awesome at that.
He might be. I don't know. If we can reach out to Gronk and ask him this will be an amazing topic to have.
If there's a bunch of questions I'm going to ask Gronk, that's not going to be one of them. Dave Hickey is going to join us in just a moment. Thanks to our newest sponsor of the program, QC Kinetics. You know, we were just talking about the weather. The longer days, warmer weather. This is the time of year you need to be enjoying life without joint pain. Time to call QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is helping people here and all over America get real lasting pain relief. And they're using highly concentrated, cutting-edge natural biologic treatments that can restore and repair damaged joint tissue, getting to the root of the pain. It's life-changing. You can get back to moving like you used to with no drugs, no surgery, no downtime. If you have nagging pain in your knees, your hips, your shoulder, or back, and you're done with steroids and pain meds, call QC Kinetics. And if they're telling you surgery is the next option, don't do it. Call QC Kinetics for a free consultation and a free second opinion. Learn more about these amazing natural biologic treatments. Enjoy this time of year doing what you love. Call QC Kinetics. Here's the number, 520-497-4955. That's 520-497-4955. Thanks to QC Kinetics being a proud sponsor of the Rich Herrera Radio Show. Coming up next, we'll talk with Dave Hickey, Athletic Director, University of Arizona. He joins us next. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
You know who we broken in deep?
Rich Rare Show rolls out. Thanks to Dave Hickey joining us, Athletic Director, University of Arizona. Hey, by the way, this weekend we have, this Friday, we have 2 sweet deals for you from the Tucson Monster Truck Show. Come on, say it once, Dragon Ball. Monster Truck.
Monster Trucks.
That's pretty good. Do it again.
Monster Trucks.
No, see again. Just ask you to do it just one more time. Just do it one more time, and you have to go.
Well, I mean, that's what you do with Monster
Trucks.
This Sunday. I mean, that's
why?
the
Why?
That's
You get a
classic.
VIP ticket that includes exclusive entrance, parking, VIP tent seating, with a catered dinner and all-access pass for just $30, originally $60, or you get a GA ticket half off. They're originally $22.50, now $11.25. Monster Truck Demolition Derby Figure 8 trailer races are back Friday and Saturday, April 29th, 30th. Tucson Rodeo Grounds. So gates open at 5 with a free pit party before the show. Both of these opportunities, you get half off the VIP tent for $30. That includes food or just general admission. The GAs are now $11.25. That's half off. Go to Sweet Deals this Friday, 8:30 a.m. on Wildcats Radio 1290.com. If you had to do one of those, what would you do? A Demolition Derby or a Figure 8 trailer race? You know what that is?
Not
I know
a
you're
clue.
busy playing Dungeons and Dragons.
I'm not.
But it's a Figure 8, and if you cross it, if you have to go across the 8, chances are you're going to get smushed.
Yeah, no, the Figure 8 sounds like it's a bit more dangerous. At least with demolition derbies, the contact is usually a lot closer because you're not able to get the car to move that fast after.
Have you ever been in a Demolition Derby? That'd be fun to put you in one.
Am I completely and totally insured?
No.
No,
Life, there's no insurance in life.
Not the car, but just me.
I don't know. I hadn't thought that far.
That's what I'm asking. But if we can ensure that if something were to happen to me,
Like what? Like you break a little finger?
or
decapitation?
or I go through the windshield.
I don't know. All right, we have insurance for you.
You got to be ready.
Or you got to sign a waiver that says you won't sue me for making you do it.
Oh, if I got to sign a waiver that says that I won't sue if something happens, I'm not
just
going to do it.
if you've got to do one, just do one. Which one would you do?
Again, if I'm told,
Demolition Derby or Figure 8 trailer race?
I'm gonna definitely do the demolition derby if I'm totally safe, because I just don't trust my ability to drive a trailer either.
Well, that makes it fun because they roll over.
I would much rather have a car come up on my side than to potentially flip the car over and not be able to get out.
Oh, by the way, what I tell you during the break, I'll let you share with everybody.
Oh, we're going to go ahead and get a very special guest in JT Snow next week.
JT Snow's going to join us next week for Wildcat Wednesday.
There you go.
All right. Here's what I want to talk about. Let's go back to football for just a second. For those of you tuning in, we were talking about the spring game. It was a success. I think everybody would agree. And it's not like Jed's going to show off all of his wares, right? Football team.
Yeah, he wouldn't want to anyway. No,
you're not going to give anybody any tape right now. You're going to run vanilla. You're going to run just, you're the bottle cap, you're the stick, you're the chewing gum wrapper. Go that way. What are you laughing at? I can see you on the Dragon Ball cam because now we stream everywhere.
Wait, what? Are these like the wide receiver names?
Yeah. So if I've got a stick, a bottle cap, and a chewing gum wrapper,
okay,
put these on the ground.
Okay, so these are schoolyard plays.
Yeah. Okay. So I said, okay, Dragon Ball, you're the bottle cap. You're going to go 5 steps this way, straight up the field, and then you're going to fake inside and go outside. Meanwhile, you're going to line up behind him as the stick. You're just going to go on a fly pattern. And you on the other side, you're the chewing gum wrapper. I want you to go on a crossing pattern across the middle. And either the defensive backs are going to take off with the stick, they're going to go off to the sideline with the bottle cap, and then you're going to come right across the middle in that cleared out spot, and I'll hit you, and we'll score a touchdown. Ready? Break.
I would usually just go, okay, you guys go and run. I'll hike the ball and throw to somebody. Ready? Break.
Wait a minute, you're going to hike the ball.
Well, I mean,
are you playing center, or are you just standing there Hut.
Who in their right mind when they play pickup schoolyard football is not their own center?
No, we would have centers.
No, if you're short a player, you usually just have the
Well,
quarterback.
yeah, if you're short a player, but the quarterback, but if you really want to play,
I didn't have nearly that many friends to do that. So
or
we
you
always
would
were our own
play,
center.
you'd play with a center and a pass rusher, and the pass rusher had to count 3 alligators before he could run.
You just go ahead and when you were short a center, you had 5
Or if
Mississippi.
we were short a center, then it was 3 Mississippis, maybe 5 if you were slow.
Yeah.
And he'd stand there, and he'd stand there, and stand there, and then that'd be the fat kid, which would be me. The fat kid would run as fast as he could to the quarterback, and he'd get rid of it just in time. I just missed him by half an alligator. Somebody just didn't hand me water. I'm going back to my mom's house. I need a drink of water. Get back here, you. What? I'm reenacting my childhood.
Just making sure that we're not being too harsh on ourselves.
That was me. Sometimes I'd catch the ball. Sometimes I'd get to play quarterback if it was a Nerf ball. If it was Nerf football, I was a stud. Real football, not so much.
Yeah, no, Nerf football, I think like everybody's got the delusions of grandeur.
Yeah, Nerf footballs were awesome. Real football, not so much.
Yeah.
Let's talk real football, though. University of Arizona finished off spring practice, spring game this week. So I'm going to ask you, because, we talk about Trajan wealth and stocks in the market and everything and financials. So I'm going to put it in that context. Tucson, Arizona. Over the last 365 days of Arizona football, since Gronk came to town for the spring game and everybody got excited, and the streak was broken. The great recruiting classes come in. Would you say Arizona's football stock is rising or is it falling? 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. Are you buying or selling Arizona football? Let's be candid. When Jed got here, it was a penny stock. Would you agree? Penny stock, everybody? All right, so now, and we'll be completely candid and transparent and see-through, is that stock gotten better or worse? If it was worth a penny when he got here, how much has it grown, or is it still back there, or is it even like negative equity now? I don't know if that's possible, that you can they'll give you money. Again, we better call our friends at Trajan, but
at that point you want to just say it's bankrupt.
Yeah, that's a good way.
Is
it being delisted? Is Arizona football being delisted on the NASDAQ?
That's a harsh penalty.
That's a harsh penalty. 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290. If you were playing the stock market and the University of Arizona football program was a stock, are you buying or are you selling Jed Fish's program right now? And we all agree it started as a penny. Because remember, I can buy a penny stock, and if it takes off, it goes boom. If it gets delisted, it goes bust. So if we realize that it was, like I've said this before, the cupboard was empty. It had a fork and a spork and a plastic knife. It had a plastic souvenir cup from the Super Bowl in 1978. And it had another cup that had a hole in it. It had a blue plate and a green bowl and a soup tureen. That's all he had left in there.
I feel like one of our other describing terms was that we said that, Jed had to take a lot of cups from restaurants as souvenir cups to use at the house.
Exactly.
Like that was kind of the low. Because,
I do have a really cool Arizona cup that I took from a restaurant. I actually asked him if I could take it. So, but that's what he had. He had an incomplete cupboard. Are you buying or selling Arizona football right now? Number for you to join us, 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290, the number for you to appear on the program. Now, the biggest thing for me, if I'm going to be a financial analyst and start predicting futures if you could get cut 4 for me, Dragon Ball, in order for Arizona to become a stock that could jump from the NASDAQ to the New York Stock Exchange, Arizona's got to establish a quarterback. First and foremost, I've been saying this for 365 days. Who's the quarterback? Who do you build this thing around? Jed talked about the 3 traits that he looks for in a quarterback. Here's cut 4. This is Saturday after the spring game. Cut 4, please, Dragon Ball. I think he's talking to his lady friend.
I agree with you 100%. We say that the 3 biggest traits of a quarterback is decision-making, timing, and accuracy. So decisiveness to me fits in both 1 and 2. What impresses me is he's got great command of the offense. He's got great control of the huddle. And when you see him play, I mean, the ball comes out of his hand, flies out of his hand, but the guy knows exactly where to go with the ball, and he does it with great rhythm and timing.
I think he was talking about Jaden right there, the transfer from Washington State. So, again, until they get their quarterback, I'm now kind of pushing it out there and looking and asking you, are you ready to buy or you want to sell Arizona football right now? Here's Fish. Let me get cut 5. Here he is talking about 2 of the quarterbacks they brought in, Jaden and Noah Fafita.
Yeah, I think they've both done a great job of learning the system. I think what they've done is they've really embraced it. We haven't cut anything back. We've been able to kind of try to find some of their strengths and play to their strengths. But I think in general, I think they did a really nice job of picking things up. We didn't have to hold anything back.
All right, so that's Jed. Those are some positives that came out of the weekend. For me, I still think it's a negative. I want to see a depth chart. I want guys to know where they are, and I want the team to coalesce around a quarterback this year. Here's Jed talking about, we're just not ready to put out that depth chart just quite yet. This is cut 7.
Yeah, well, we're not going to put a depth chart out, but as I've said to you guys the whole time, I mean, we go 1s, 2s, and 3s, and you guys are out of practice. But in this case right now, we're not a big, there's so many position groups. You start naming one starter in spring, and then it's like, well, who's going to be the starting back or who's going to be the starting receiver? I think our team has a really good feel of where we're going with it. I think Jaden has certainly proven that he can lead our team, and I think that's we'll leave it at that.
Leave it at that. So Jaden is clearly the front runner. And then, Noah's going to be right there in him. Jordan McLeod's going to be right there. Will Plummer's going to have shoulder surgery. He's going to be out until September. So you have Gunnar Cruz in there as well. So those are the 4 quarterbacks that you'll have coming back. But I think it's pretty clear after spring football that Jaden is the leader in the clubhouse. It's also very clear you have so much depth at running back. This is probably the deepest running back crew that you've had at the University of Arizona in a long time. And you have some depth at wide receiver. So with all that being said, 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290 Tucson, are you buying or selling Arizona football right now? Is it on the rise or are you not convinced? I want to get your thoughts as we get ready to go into the offseason, into the summer, where they're going to have to put in individual work to come back to get ready for that first game against San Diego State. So after everything you've read and heard of spring football, over the last 365 days of Arizona Wildcat football, are you buying or are you selling? I'll give you my opinion coming up next here on Wildcats Radio 1290. What are you doing? Stop touching things. Dragon Ball's in there. Are you okay?
I just had a slip of the wrong mouse button. I'm sorry.
You fat-fingered. Fat-fingered.
I got 2 mice that sit here back to back, and I accidentally hit the wrong mouse button. That was my mistake. I don't even want to go there with you for that. It's okay.
You scared the callers away.
I did.
I think you hung up on people. 520-848-1290, the number for you to join us here on the program. All right, are you buying or selling? What are you doing on the stock market right now? Do you know? If you sat down, do you have a plan of attack with your financial people? If not, take down this number, 321-4100, 321-4100, or go to TrajanWealth.com, TRAJAN Wealth.com. Listen, big report came out today, said we have unprecedented inflation. Some people are saying stagflation. What does that mean? I don't know. I know that things are costing more and the supply chain is this and that. There's so much going on in the financial world. I got a job during the day. I try to earn that money so I can invest it or save it or do whatever I want to do with it, whatever my goals are. You need somebody who's going to help you as their full-time job that they go out there and earn a living doing. And that's what the folks at Trajan Wealth do. They're fiduciaries. They're not paid a commission to sell you something. They're paid to grow your portfolio, to grow your investments, to reach your goals. So they sit there and they study all day long. What is the inflation rate going to do? When is stagflation going to affect your portfolio and your savings? What's the price of gold going to happen? What's going to happen with supply chains? They work on all that all day long so they can help you reach your goals. It's maddening to try to do that by yourself. Get a partner that's going to help you get all that done. Get somebody who's going to understand what you're trying to do, and their goal is to reach your goal. That's what they do at Trajan Wealth. 321-4100, 321-4100, or go to TrajanWealth.com. That's spelled Trajan Wealth.com. Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Coming up, we'll get your telephone calls, and I'll tell you, am I buying or selling Arizona football over the last 365 days? I'll give you my thoughts, and we'll get to everybody's telephone calls coming up next. This is Wildcats Radio 1290. Touch that button again. Make it work. Rich Rare Radio Show with you. Thanks for joining us, everybody, here at Wildcats Radio 1290. What happened to all our phone calls? Did you hang up on everybody?
No, I didn't hang up on them.
Did you fat finger everybody?
No, it wasn't a fat finger problem with the weird little situation with the music there. That was just I had the wrong mouse in my hand.
All right.
I
think you hung up on people.
No, I made sure that they were left on hold. We were getting ready to go. And
all right, if you were on hold and Dragon Ball hung up on you, I apologize.
I apologize, too, because I did not know that I did that, if that did happen.
If that indeed happened, I do feel bad for you. It wasn't my fault. I was being Dragon Ball, the king of blah, 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 blah. All right. Arizona football, folks. Are you buying or selling that stock? Let's all agree it started as a penny stock. When Kevin Sumlin was let go, the program was a penny stock. Hadn't won, hadn't recruited, hadn't done anything. And the program had regressed so much from the days of Stoops and Rich Rod and even Makovic to new lows under Kevin Sumlin. With that being said, Jed Fish has taken over in 365 days. He has made changes. Are you buying Arizona football, or are you selling Arizona football? And the reason I want to make sure we understand, a year ago it was a penny stock because when he took over, there was nothing there. Has he built this any equity in the program, or has it gone the other way? 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. I'll give you my thoughts here in just a second. Let me go to Johnny B on line one. Johnny, welcome. Bear down. You're a Wildcats Radio 1290. Good afternoon.
Yeah, bear down. I'm buying because everybody knows you buy low and you sell high.
Bingo. Tell me what improvements you've seen for the Cats over the last 365 days. Something you can point at and go, okay, you know what? That gives me a positive feeling, no matter how big, no matter how small.
Yeah, the coach is, he's up. He thinks he can do a lot better every year, and I think he can probably do it. One or two games a year, that'd be great.
All right. Johnny, I appreciate your call. There's one vote for this is a stock that I would buy. Let me go to Paul in Phoenix. Oh, this is my buddy Paul in Phoenix. Paul, I miss you. Where have you been? Bear down. You're on Wildcats Radio 1290. How are you?
Good, Rich. Bear down to you. And Rich, don't take this in the wrong way, but it was so nice to fall asleep with you a couple nights. Was it last week? Something like that?
Yes. People told me that. Great. People tell me that over the years. I fall asleep with you. I'm like, is that good or bad? You know what? I listen to podcasts to fall asleep or the radio. I'll listen to Amy Lawrence and doze off. So, yes, thank you for letting me put you to sleep. In fact,
no problem.
I can put you to sleep this Friday if you want because I'm sitting in on the network again.
You're doing it again. Okay, I'll try to pick you up. Absolutely. Hey, but I've watched and read as much as I could watch about this team. I am 100% buying the stock. But I have a question for you. Okay?
Yes, sir.
As far as just trying to observe what I observed on TV, but I want your opinion and other people's thoughts. The biggest concern for anybody when they get into a new season, heading into 2022, and I'm of course concerned about the first three games of the year, the non-conference games. How do we match up on both sides of the line? What's your thought? What's your takeaway from it?
You know what? That's why we're such good friends, because that's actually what we're going to talk about the next segment was the good, the bad, and the ugly.
I'll wait. I'll be happy to wait because it's I'm concerned, but at the same time, I guess he's going to bring some more guys in. Not this year necessarily, but
he already did. He brought in a huge class this year, and we still have more that are going to show up in July that are seniors in high school.
Right.
So
right. Well, and I heard the number that they said right now or coming into the fall, there'll be 60 kids that are considered freshmen.
or newcomers or new players into the program for Jaden DeLaura, for Noah Fafita. They both, even though one's got 4 years of eligibility, the other has, I think Jaden with the COVID year still has 3, but they're all considered new players. So you'll have kids that'll come in through the portal because they've churned this roster. And again, I feel bad saying this because I appreciate all the kids that stuck through with COVID and Kevin Sumlin, and it could have been easy for them to jump ship, but you had to turn over the roster because there just wasn't enough talent to win. That's why you've only won 1 game in 2.5 years.
But, Rich, you know what? And I don't think, and this may sound really bad, I don't think he's done, nor is any college team done with the transfer portal, because what I've heard is that the deadline is May 1st, okay?
Right.
So if I'm a coach, I'm calling kids in, giving them their report card. Okay, so this is that time right now. Spring ball's over for most schools, if not already. They've already been done for a while. And they bring them in and they say, Coach, am I going to play? And the coach, if he's honest, says, there's a pretty good chance you're not going to play this year and probably not next year. And, I don't know what your thoughts are. And if the young man says, should I consider transferring, don't you think the coach is going to be honest with him, or a good coach would be honest and say, "That's a pretty good takeaway on your part. You need to consider transferring." Thus, it opens up a spot for us to bring another kid in, right? And that's terrible to say that. But
it's not. It's actually good. I'd rather the coaches be honest, right?
Right.
So I learned this in baseball. I asked Joe Madden, what do you say when you send someone down to the minor leagues? And he said, I got to be completely candid. If I'm not candid with him, if I sugarcoat it, if we don't think he's strong enough defensively, and we don't think he's a very good base runner, and those are the reasons he's not making the team. If I tell him, well, you know what, just maybe you need to improve on your batting average, and I give him some kind of song and dance, I didn't do anybody any good, because he's going to go down there, he's not going to know what to work on, and he's not going to be able to improve, and he's just going to get bitter when he doesn't get an opportunity, because we never told him that you need to improve your defense and your base running. So I have to look him in the eye, say, this is what you're deficient at. If you want to come back up here, you need to improve in those areas so he knows what to work on. I'd rather have him do that and be honest with you in him than just to say, well, maybe it's going to be tough, but maybe you can work your way up. If he's not in your plans, tell the young man so he doesn't sit here and waste 4 years as a backup to somebody else with never getting an opportunity to play. Look him in the eye and go, listen, here's the deal. We have 5 running backs. You are now number 5 in our minds. It's going to be tough for you to move into 4, 3. I don't ever see you moving into 2 or 1. The nice thing is, Paul, for athletes, and I found this in broadcasting, guys that I've worked with that weren't athletes, I really can't tell them just flat out, hey, you suck. This is what you need to fix, right? Professional athletes, they don't wince when you go, hey, listen, you can't read a liner to save your life. If you want to keep working with me, you got to learn how to read these liners better. Hey, you need to do this. You need to prep. They're used to having people being brutally honest with them, because that's the only thing that matters is that currency of truth. So if you're sitting there and you didn't get much playing time and you're not getting many reps, you see the writing on the wall. You go to the coach and go, hey, listen, do I have an opportunity? And if I don't, then because of the portal, I could jump into the portal and find opportunities elsewhere. We've got kids that have come here to Tucson because at Notre Dame, I was just buried in the depth chart. Maybe they over-recruited my position one year. Maybe I've fallen back. Maybe I've fallen out of favor. Maybe they changed defensive coordinators that are looking for a different type of player. All of those reasons are why I don't fit here, but that doesn't mean I can't fit somewhere else. So as we see kids jumping into the portal, you go, well, what was wrong with them? It just wasn't the right fit. Now I'll see other kids jumping into the portal, like JT Daniels. JT Daniels was the quarterback at the University of Southern California. Then he went to Georgia. I just saw he jump back in the portal, and he's going somewhere else. Not the right fit for him. Not the right fit for him. So you're going to get –
What about Gunnar Cruz?
Gunner's got to make a decision. Gunner has started at one time. Is he going to be able to bang his way back up there and get opportunities?
Not with the 3 we have.
It just depends on where he sees himself and what the coaches give him back is feedback.
Right.
So you're also going to see kids leaving other programs, other Power 5 programs. They're going to go, where can I go and find an opportunity? The one thing that Jed has, the one rabbit that he has in his hat, the one card he has up his sleeve is that if Arizona won one football game last year, they need more talent. And if I'm talking to a kid who's going to leave Georgia, Notre Dame, USC, right, where they're really good, but there's kids on the depth chart that are just bigger and better than they are, I could tell you, listen, you want to come to Tucson? You'll play right away.
Right. So what's the rules? You're not allowed to. They have to enter the portal.
They have to enter the portal.
Reach out to them.
And then they have people Jed's got a huge staff of folks on top of recruiting. They look into the portal. They go, who's available? All right, who's out there? Great. Let's go find them. And then once you say, hey, I want to talk to you, then that whole recruiting process takes place.
Is there a website where the transfer portal candidates
not that's open to the public? No, there's not. There's a couple Twitter accounts that kind of I can't do this. I can't do this and look myself in the eye. There's a couple people out there. They do high school recruiting. That's great for them. There's guys I respect, like Greg Biggins of 24/7. We've had him on the program. I respect him. The rest are guys that kind of skulk around social media looking at everybody's Instagram posts.
Right.
I can't do that in good consciousness, just looking what some 17-year-old's going to write every 2 seconds. But there are people that just have bots that spy on all of those, and then as soon as they announce on Instagram or Twitter or social media, I'm going into the portal, then they tweet it out as well.
Well, and speaking of social media, not to switch gears, I'll leave you with this, sir,
yes, sir.
And I will check back in with you periodically. I did see on Facebook that somebody said they happened to have ran into Christian Coloco and Ben Matherin on campus, and they said, hey, are you coming back? And they both said yes. So
from Facebook's mouth to God's ears, right?
See, and you know what? If Ben Matherin decides that, you know what, I enjoy this, I don't need NBA basketball right now. We all need NBA basketball, at least NBA basketball money, right?
Right.
But I don't need NBA basketball right now. I'm going to be the 9th pick overall, if that, okay? What if I stay in school and come back? What if he does?
And that's
Not
where
to bring up basketball.
Right.
I know
No. You can do anything you want, by the way, Paul. But again, he's going to get the evaluation. Hey, you're a lottery pick. Great. This is the highest you're going to go, where they're going to go, listen, here's where you need to make some improvements. Maybe you'll be a first rounder. Maybe you'll be a low lottery pick. But we could project you if you improve this, that, or the other. And that's where the NBA scouting service is so good. Dragon Ball, yes.
So actually, I hate to burst the bubble of Paul here, but I had just seen on
you just saw or you just seen?
I've just seen on Twitter.
You have just seen, okay.
I've just seen through Twitter. Jonathan Gavoni of the Draft Express announced that Ben Matherin has announced to ESPN that he will declare for the NBA 22 NBA draft. And it just went live on his personal Twitter account, his message to say that he will be entering the draft. So officially, Ben Matherin, as of 7 minutes ago, has said he will declare for the NBA draft.
Wow, I just got goosebumps. But did
you know what?
Does it say anything about an agent?
No. Because again, listen, he might show up and they might go, oh, I think you're a little overrated. I doubt it, but that's where you get the candid. Just like we talked about with the football coaches, you get the candid conversation back and forth, and now Ben will go from a college athlete to a professional athlete, and the paralysis of analysis will begin, just like with the NBA draft, NFL draft, Major League Baseball draft. It is cover your rear end, and every scout out there is going to look for 25 reasons why your game is not good, just to cover their behind, because if they don't, and they don't give you all the flaws, and they draft you and you don't make it, they lose their job.
Right. Well, and I'll leave you with this. And Ben, to me, will be a better, and some people will be like, oh, he wasn't that good, but he really was if you really look back on his NBA stats. Ben will be a better Gilbert Arenas in the NBA. A better. He reminds me a lot of Gilbert. He's such a baller. Gilbert was such a baller in college. You could see it. It wasn't so much it just, you could just see the baller instincts in Ben. And if Ben would stay one more year in college, it would be amazing. But he's going to get to the league, and you watch. I'm telling you right now that kid, I think he's made for the league. That's why I kind of want him.
If he asked me, and this is advice that someone gave someone that I know, the advice is don't ever turn down your first $1 million because you're never sure or if anybody will ever offer you $1 million again.
That's right. Right. And you know what? You guys look great on Facebook.
Thank you very much. I was just going to say, I'm doing this just for you now. Now you can hang out and watch us on Facebook and YouTube.
That's what I'm doing. Sounds good. Thanks, guys. Right. Bear down.
All right. See you, buddy. Thank you for the call. Paul in Phoenix. Appreciate it. All right. Coming up, we're going to talk about what he said. I'm going to tell you something good. Oh, by the way, I forgot to pay off. I am buying Arizona football. As a penny stock, it has grown, and it still has a lot more potential. But if I bought it today, I would make a ton of money 365 days from here. I think you will see a market improvement from where we were 365. Year 2, we will get better. It will be a better stock to hold on to. So what did somebody say? Buy low, sell high. Today's the lowest it's going to be. Buy what Jetfish is selling.
Get that orange juice while you can.
What was the name of the guy who was going to who's going to get the report?
I can't remember any of the names of the characters from Trading Places. Beaks. Okay. And actually, orange juice works in this analogy because Orange County, for all the prospects that Jetfish brought in.
What was Willie McCovey's nickname in baseball? Stretch.
Okay, I thought it was clever.
You're clever.
I thought it was clever, sir.
Listen, you can't be clever and good looking. I'm looking at the Dragon Ball cam. It's too much. You can't be that much
of a... halfway in my face. You can barely see it.
You look good. Coming up, give me something good, something bad, and something ugly in regards to Arizona football. That's next here on 1290. Rich Herrera, Dragon Ball with you. This is Wildcats Radio 1290. It's Wildcat Wednesday. It's brought to you by our friends at PGA Tour Superstore. Every Wednesday we sit down and we talk about what makes the University of Arizona great. One of the things is it's gives kids an opportunity to pursue their dreams, right? Gives kids an opportunity to reach and go on to the next level. And it's not just in athletics, but I think a lot of kids you see. Like I told Dragon Ball over the weekend, my brother came out with my two nephews and my niece, and I took my older nephew, who's a junior in high school, just turned 16. Yeah, he's a junior. I took him with me to the spring game. Fell in love with the U of A. Fell in love with U of A. He is a musician. He loves the band. He's that's his passion. That's awesome. I'm glad he has a passion. Most kids I meet that are his age don't have a passion. That's a shame. We all develop our passion at different times. But he kind of has an idea of what he wants to do. Now, I'm used to kids coming here that I'll invite over from San Diego or other kids that, because I'm involved in athletics and I work in sports. So I'm used to kids like, hey, I want to come here and play. I want to come here. He wants to come here for a completely different reason. He wants to study music. But we just walked around campus. I took him to the bookstore in the student union, showed him the dorms. We walked around, fell in love with the place. And a week ago, the only thing he knew about Tucson is mean Uncle Rich lives in Tucson. That's what my nephews and nieces called me. I thought it'd be funny when they were little that I was going to be mean Uncle Rich. I'm not very mean to them. I spoil them tremendously, but I think it's funny to have little 5-year-old kids call you mean Uncle Rich in public, and people look like, why are those kids calling you mean? I go, that's my name. I'm mean Uncle Rich. And then they high-five me, and it's kind of funny. But I brought him around on campus, fell in love with the place. And now we bought 1, 2, 3. I think he went home with like 5 shirts, a hat, a lanyard for his keys, everything under the sun that he could find at the bookstore. And then he was still asking, can we go back and get one more shirt? No, I'm going to go see you in a couple weeks. I'll bring you more. And it was really interesting to watch that happen. And by the way, can I punt on my next topic? Can I punt on what we're going to talk about because of breaking news? Is it okay, Dragon Ball, if I break format? Okay.
We can do that.
By the way, I was going to give you the good, the bad, and the ugly of Arizona football. I'll just tell it to you real quick. The good is you've had the best recruiting class that you had in these parts in almost forever, so that was good. The bad is I still don't know if you have enough depth on your lines, offensively, defensively. The ugly is 1 win over the last 2.5 years. But I digress because of the breaking news. Ben Mathurin is declared for the NBA draft. Is it the worst-kept secret in all of Tucson, Arizona? Yeah. Is it a surprise to anybody? No, but we're going to gather. In fact, Dragon Ball is working on it right now. He's putting together some of the highlights of Ben Mathurin's career that brought him to the University of Arizona. And it's pretty remarkable. It's pretty remarkable that you look at where this young man came from and the fact that he's now heading off to the National Basketball Association. Now, is it a foregone conclusion that he's going to leave and he can't come back? No. Is it about 99.9% sure that he's going to jump to the NBA? Yes. Is there a chance he'll ever come back and play for the Wildcats? Yeah, but it's about I don't know. What's more likely to happen, Dragon Ball? Ben Mathurin comes back to play for the Arizona Wildcats one day, or, I don't know, Kate Upton leaves Justin Verlander to run off with me. Which has got a better shot?
I actually would honestly say, and I don't mean this in a flattering sense, that I think you got a shot with Kate.
Before
Ben comes back.
I think that's probably it. But Ben posted it on Instagram that he's going off to the NBA draft. There's a lot that we'll learn in the next couple of weeks, where he goes, where he projects to be, who's looking for him. who's looking at him. And then, again, all these mock drafts and projections are just that. They'll work him out. They'll look at him. He'll get an agent. He'll get ready for the draft, and then we'll see where he goes. But I just want to take just a tiny step back and just marvel at what we've seen from Benedict Mathurin in 2 short years here in Tucson. And I'm going to count myself fortunate to be able to say, just the same way I say about Andre Iguodala, I remember him playing for the University of Arizona. I remember when he played here at the U of A. Say the same thing about Luke Walton. I remember when he played here at the U of A. I really say it with Dre because I'm a Warriors fan. I think we'll all say it with Ben Mathurin wherever he goes. But the journey to get here is pretty amazing for Ben Mathurin. I just want to take a step back and make sure we put this in context today here on the radio. Benedict Mathurin was never destined to come to the University of Arizona. Can I say that one more time? Benedict Mathurin was never destined to come here to the University of Arizona. It's by happenstance and dumb luck that I was fortunate enough to be able to say I saw Ben Mathurin play here at the U of A, and so were you. Think about this. Go back to Ben Mathurin's journey to get here. How did it happen? Remember, Arizona was cruising along. Everything was fine. Sean Miller was the coach. And then, bang, the FBI investigation decimates the recruiting base for the University of Arizona. You had DeAndre Ayton and Nico Mannion and all those players leave, and the University of Arizona sitting there with the FBI probe and an NCAA investigation hanging over Sean Miller's head. The future was not very clear, and the University of Arizona wasn't sure what was going to happen. And you know everybody else in college basketball is, hey, listen, you don't want to go to the U of A. Dude, do you know what's going on with the U of A? Hey, listen, you saw there in the newspaper for the wrong reason. Everybody's dirty recruiting against the U of A, and U of A really had no comeback. Because what they were saying is, I have no idea what the future is for the University of Arizona. So every blue chip, 5-star, 4-star wasn't coming to the University of Arizona, and Sean Miller needed to build out a roster. So he found a roster, and he puts it together in the most improbable way. He goes out, and he relies on Jack Murphy to go out and find international recruits, because the local domestic super prep all-stars that normally would make a beeline to the University of Arizona are not interested in coming to Tucson with all this hanging over your head. So what Jack Murphy was able to do was use his international connections, and he went gallivanting around the world, and he found players to come fill in the void of the kids who were from the United States that weren't interested in coming to the University of Arizona. He goes down to Mexico, and he finds Ben Mathurin at the NBA Academy. He goes out and finds Kirk Harris in Estonia. He finds the Tubelis brothers. He goes, finds kids all over the world, brings in all these Eurocats that gave Arizona a fighter's chance to even field a roster. And by lo and behold, one of the kids he finds blossoms into a lottery pick within 2 years. Within 2 years, he blossoms into a lottery pick. And think of Ben's journey from Montreal to Mexico City. We're sitting down there. Anybody and their brother could have gone and found him in Mexico City. How many coaches around America are kicking themselves today? Why did I go down to Mexico City and look at that NBA Academy to find Ben Mathurin? I mean, think about this. Think of how ironic it is. Is ironic the right word, or am I Alanis Morissette misusing it? That Ben Mathurin and Omar Ballo are both down at the NBA Academy in Mexico City, learning to speak Spanish.
That wouldn't be irony. That would be more so. Think of the
coincidence.
The coincidence, yes.
Okay.
Coincidence would be more so that
because the whole Alanis Morissette song is not ironic, is it?
Usually it's not ironic, no, because
isn't it ironic?
Like irony has a very specific definition. That here I'm gonna make sure I get the right definition on this, because again, like you said, irony is used to almost to death in a situation where irony is supposed to be by using language that normally signifies the opposite. So when you say something and you mean the opposite, that is supposed to be the irony of it.
Like this conversation.
Yes.
This conversation is very ironic.
That I'm trying to go ahead and give you the actual rundown when what you were asking was initially just open-ended, not really looking for an answer.
Isn't it ironic?
Isn't it ironic? I took you seriously.
It's like rain on your wedding day. It's like finding two players in the NBA Academy, and they both end up coming to Tucson, Arizona one day. One's ironic, one's not. Correct?
Yes.
Okay. So anyway, you know what it reminds me of? There's always a silver lining. No matter how bleak it is, right? At Dragon Ball, you're around me enough. You know that I'm like, I try to be as positive as I can, and even when things are bad, I try to look for something good.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I think this is pretty amazing that of all the angst that Tucson's had, what was our payoff of this? One of the things that came from all the angst of everything that's gone on with the FBI investigation is we were blessed enough to have Ben Mathurin play here for 2 years.
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
And you never know when it's going to be over. I mean, there's a lot of kids that start off.
No, he's not coming back.
Well, no. I'm just saying in the sense of you have to go ahead and look at it in a situation of we should be lucky that we got him for 2 when we could have only had him for 1. There's a lot of kids in college.
He could have if more people if Arizona would have been higher up in the rankings, if Arizona would have gotten the attention they got this year, he could have been one and done.
He could have if he had
because there were people talking about that at the end of last year that he could go.
If he had taken the Wildcats to the Pac-12 tournament, to the national tournament, which they did not have the opportunity to do last year, there could have been an opportunity for Ben to go to the NBA draft as a fringe lottery pick. He goes in this year
guaranteed lottery pick.
Guaranteed lottery, possibly top 10, maybe as high as 7. Depending on who you ask.
We'll see. Today's program brought to you by Trajan Wealth, 321-4100, 321-4100, or go to TrajanWealth.com, TRAJAN Wealth.com. All right, so what's going to happen if you get picked in the lottery, Dragon Ball? What are you going to do once you get that bazillions of dollars?
I'm going to put it in my savings account.
But then you're going to get negative interest with stagflation and the loss of the dollar.
That's true. I should probably find somebody.
You realize that 80% of NBA players go broke the first 5 years out of the league because they didn't find the right financial people. Most NFL players go bankrupt. Most NBA players go bankrupt. Most professional athletes, unless they find someone to help manage their money and meet their goals and find somebody they can trust and they feel comfortable working with. That's a great thing about Trajan Wealth. When you call, you're not calling an 800 number at Pigs Knuckle, Arkansas. You're talking to your neighbor, someone who lives right here in Tucson. You can go meet them face-to-face over on East Sunrise over in the Kolb Center. You're not calling an 800 number where every time you call, somebody else is just kind of looking up, oh, I see in your notes here it says that you want to grow your wealth. Great. No, it's somebody who you work with, and they're dedicated to helping you. Trajan Wealth is a full-service, privately owned firm with an A-plus Better Business Bureau rating. It means you can trust them. It means they've earned the trust of their clients over the years, and they're right here. So it's a combination of two things. They're your neighbors, and they've earned trust because they do the right thing. They look out for you. Now, you can't say that about your financial person, or maybe you're just starting out and things are going really, really well, and you want to make sure you take care of yourself so you don't end up like most celebrities, lottery winners, professional athletes. You want your money to last a lifetime. You spend a lifetime making it, make it last a lifetime. Call them today, 321-4100, 321-4100, or go to TrajanWealth.com, TRAJAN Wealth.com. Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. All right, coming up next, we'll have the best of Ben Mathurin. 2 years in Tucson that turned everybody's head. Helped lead the Cats to a number 2 ranking of the country. We'll reflect on that next. This is Wildcats Radio 1290. Rich Rare Radio Show rolls on here on Wildcats Radio 1290. Historic day around these parts. Yes, it's official. Those of you just getting in your car right now, Benedict Mathurin has announced on Instagram he is declaring for the National Basketball Association draft. He's projected to be a lottery pick. But again, I'm not sure how much I pay attention to exactly where all these things round out as far as mock drafts go. There's too many mock drafts. But he is projected to be one of the top players taken in the draft and will become a very, very wealthy young man.
And let's not forget, I mean, while we can go ahead and dissuade all the mock draft discussion, there is a lot of respect for Ben Mathurin's game. If you just go back to the game where going into the NCAA tournament game against Houston, Coach Sampson said, this kid's a day one starter in the NBA. He's a
day one starter in the NBA, and I think his draft, his stock is just taken. Remember last year, Fringe, first rounder? People are kind of whispering, hey, listen, if he came out, I'd probably project him as being a first rounder. That was towards the end of the season. Then, on the national spotlight, where Arizona jumped from also receiving votes to number 2 in the country and a number 1 seed in the NCAA tournament, people had filled his ears the entire time with, hey, dude, you are going to be filthy rich. You are going to be filthy rich. You're 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 going to the league. And Ben had to manage those expectations because if he had a great game, you're going higher in the draft, you're going higher in the draft, you're going higher in the draft were the whispers. If he had a game where he struggled, oh, dude, you just blew it. Your stock is tumbling. There was a lot of pressure that he had to play through. I think that Tommy Lloyd did a great job of helping him manage that, taking the pressure off of him. But in the end, Ben Mathurin helped the Arizona Wildcats become relevant in college basketball again. And the Arizona Wildcats helped Ben Mathurin reach his goal of taking care of his family by moving on to the next level. And he will become a very wealthy young man when this is all said and done. So I just want to take a moment and sit back, and we just kind of reflected upon it. Think about this. The silver lining of everything that came out with the FBI investigation into college basketball is Ben Mathurin somehow, through sheer luck, coincidence, or whatever you want to call it, ended up here at the University of Arizona. And we were treated to 2 years of amazing basketball and a young man that helped lead this university back into relevance in the national basketball conversation with his play, his personality, and everything he brought to the table. So we pulled a couple plays very quickly from our highlight archives of Ben Mathurin being Ben Mathurin.
And we will start with a couple of highlights from the Stanford game. We're going to start from the beginning of the Pac-12 tournament, going all the way to the highlights of his amazing run in the national tournament. So we're going to start again with Stanford.
Let him roll.
And Justin Kier to trigger the inbound. Waits, gets it to Mathurin, left corner, jumper for 3, and a fadeaway, it's good. Alexis of Charity, 3 for Ben Mathurin.
The big time fall away 3 there from Mathurin out of the corner. Good to see one drop for him early here.
Ingram trying to get the offense set, drives right, goes corner. Silva drives underneath to Keefe, lost the ball, got it back, turn around, throw it right corner. There's Ingram for 3, off the side of the rim, no good as the shot clock was expiring. Tabellis rebound, ahead Creason to Mathurin, lay it up, and it's good, and he's fouled. Circus shot by Ben Mathurin.
Arizona basketball getting into the open floor. Beautiful kick ahead by Kirk Christen, and the athletic circus shot there by Ben Mathurin for 2.
High post to Koloko. Works the left, bounce pass, Mathurin, two-handed dunk.
Beautiful pass there by Koloko. Felt that pressure on the deny. Mathurin releases it with the backdoor cut.
20-point game for Ben Mathurin. Back to Kier, steps inside the arc, handed back to Koloko, out top of the key. And to Mathurin, circles left, get it to Dalen Terry, back out to Mathurin, squares up for the 3, it's good. Alexis of Tucson Charity 3 to get things started for Ben Mathurin.
Ben Mathurin absolutely pure on that first jumper of the night. Good sign for the Cats.
First half, 26-24 Arizona with the lead, and Dalen inbound the ball. Gets it in left corner. Mathurin fadeaway three is good. Alexis of Tucson charity three. Ben Mathurin with his second triple of the ball game. Cats up by 5.
Ball away three from the player of the year.
Biggest lead for UCLA, 34-28. Backdoor cut to Mathurin, laid up good, and he is fouled. Mathurin will go to the free throw line. Foul on Jalen Clark is first. Kyer with the ball for the Wildcats. Top of the key, feed it off for Mathurin. Fake right, drives left into the lane. A floater up and good by Ben Mathurin. And like you said, Reggie, he really needs to take control here in the second half. Terry around a screen from Coloco. Fire it right side. Mathurin. Turnaround. Fade away. Is good. Three-pointer.
Ben Mathurin falling out of bounds. An incredible shot there. Knocks down the three.
12 second half points for Big Ben. Pello racing down full court right. Stops out to Coloco. Top of the key. Handed back to Mathurin. Mathurin feeling it. Throws it inside. Lay-in is good. Coloco.
Beautiful connection there. We've seen that Ben Mathurin to Coloco on the middle pick and roll alley-oop.
Dump it inside to Ballo. A little off balance there, trying to get squared up to Mathurin. Good look at the triple. Good. Another Lexus of Tucson charity three for Ben Mathurin.
Arizona's postmen are racking up assists now that the double's coming. The three is wide open.
44-35 Wildcats. Mathurin top of the key with the ball for the Wildcats. Shoots the three. High off the rim and through. That went to the top of the backboard and came back down for Ben Mathurin, his third. 3-point lead again for TCU. Down to 30 seconds left. Mathurin with the ball for the Wildcats. Mathurin around a Coloco screen. Picked up by Lampkin. Go outside for Coloco. Feed it to Terry, right corner. Terry can't go baseline. Circles back out top to Mathurin. 10 to shoot. 16 left in the ballgame. Mathurin, 3 balls straight away. Good!
That's a huge shot for Ben Mathurin in Arizona. Timeout TCU. This ball game is knotted up.
Hand it off for Krisa. Looking back inside. Fire it to Coloco. Shovel it off. Mathurin from it home with the right hand.
Put it on top of Eddie Lampkin's head.
54-52 Arizona. They're rocking here in San Diego now.
Rocking in San Diego. Ben Mathurin posterizes Eddie Lampkin right there. And that's probably going to be your takeaway. That's your memory of Ben Mathurin and what he's done in his 2 short years here in Tucson. Pretty remarkable. Absolutely remarkable what this young man has done and achieved and what he's about to achieve as he makes his way to the next level. All right. By the way, you have one more soundbite for me, right?
I do. This was like one of the last cuts that we got of Tommy, where he talked specifically about Ben Mathurin. I feel like it's
appropriate.
It's a perfect way of finishing this off.
Ben's not afraid of the moment, and he's a special player who has an ability to rise it up another level when needed, and he has that clutch gene. I honestly felt really good when he had the ball in his hands there, because I knew he was going to shoot a three, like on that one, and I've seen him make the ball in his left hand enough times, and right when he snapped that three off to tie it, it was pretty impressive. And then, whenever he can cut left and plant his right foot, he can really go up and explode on somebody, and I've been on him to get that dunk all year, so I'm glad he finally got one this season.
Ben Mathurin, pretty amazing. We'll get your thoughts, and tomorrow we'll have a lot more on Ben Mathurin's decision to go in the NBA, and we'll work on some guests and talk about where they project him to go and what the future looks like for Ben Mathurin. But from all of us here at 1290, we just congratulate him and wish him nothing but the best as he makes that jump to the next level. And like I said, we're going to get a bunch of folks on to talk about what he'll be facing and their thoughts, and we'll do a lot more in the next couple of days on Ben Mathurin, who it's sad for us here at Tucson because it would be amazing to have him come back one more year.
It'd be nice for one more ride. You'd always want to ask guys to run it back. But when the time comes, and it's going to be time to go.
Yeah, he is going to be amazing. All right, coming up next, we'll walk through the big story for you. Again, the breaking news, Ben Mathurin is declared for the National Basketball Association draft. We'll have more on that coming up here on 1290. Do I? Could you? You worked in fast food?
Again, I only worked as a host. I never.
Oh, that's right. You were the sweaty host.
I was the sweaty host.
Ugh, so gross. Hi, let me show you. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, Dragon Ball shared this early in his tenure here. He said, I was a host because I was a waiter and bartender.
Right.
That's how I put myself to school. You hosted.
I hosted.
But you would hustle.
I was a hustle because we didn't have any bussers or anything like that, so I would go around
bussing tables and then being a host.
My servers' tables and things like that, make sure the front of the house was managed and clean windows and whatever the case was. And
he sweated quite a bit, so he wore this big, gigantic, Peyton Manning armband.
I wore a wristband that I pulled up to my forearm so that way when I needed to wash my hands after whatever it was, it wouldn't get on the sweatband. But I would wash my hands, and then when I would sweat,
reason he wore the sweatband, not to keep his wrists or his hand from being sweaty.
It was just so that I could do a little.
So he could dab his forehead and wipe his sweaty brow on a wristband that he would wear the entire night.
It was better than the alternative in which I just had sweat pouring off me, and everyone's like, "Well, what's wrong with you?"
So you're a sweaty Betty.
When I work hard, I work hard.
So you were a sweaty Betty. So I just said, I think it would be kind of gross if I got sat at a table and he hands me my menu and the menu is touching your dirty, rancid, sweaty sweatband.
That's why it's up here.
But still, there's a good chance that some of that
it's like up
filth,
near the elbow.
It's a good chance some of that filth could get on my menu.
I'm not.
And then
draining.
I couldn't enjoy my bloomin' onion.
I make sure to wash my hands every single time.
You didn't work there. They wouldn't have had you.
They probably wouldn't.
I actually applied for a job there. They didn't take me either.
Some people, you need experience, and to get experience, you need the job, and it's
they thought it was a jerk. It's time for our big story, things that you missed while you were off at work. The biggest story of the day, of course, is Ben Matherin has made it official on Instagram, and I guess that's how everybody announces things. I declare.
It's the best. It's the closest thing to yelling on the top of a mountain without being on the top of a mountain.
I declare that he's going to make the jump and has declared himself eligible for the NBA draft. That's how, if you're going to declare your eligibility, you should have to stand on top of a mountaintop on TikTok and go, I declare.
Like, do you need to go ahead? Is it just screaming, or would it be like you need a banner behind you? Like, put a banner up behind you.
No, I think you could just declare by screaming like Michael Scott.
Just screaming?
I declare. So he's going off to the next level. And what an amazing career he had at the University of Arizona. 2 short years, made about as big as impact as you can, helping the Arizona Wildcats stay relevant and then returning them back to the national spotlight. We'll have more on that over the next few days. Arizona's spring game was set last Saturday. No starting quarterback, no depth charts comes out. But obviously, Jaden Delore, it's his job to lose with Noah Fafita nipping at his heels, along with, well, you still have a whole room full of quarterbacks out there, but clearly Delore ran with the ones most of the time.
Right. The only guy that's not going to be in the running right now is going to be, sadly, Will Plummer.
Will Plummer,
who's on the shoulder injury.
Who we saw him. In fact, I walked into the stadium, and he was in the end zone. He was in the end zone, and I saw him all wrapped up with ice in his shoulders. Dude, what happened? So he's going to have shoulder surgery. It happened in the Cal game, I believe.
From what Jed said, yeah, it sounded like it was an issue going back to the Cal game, and they had tried to do non-invasive
So think
rehab.
about that. He hurt himself during the Cal game. They had no other quarterbacks. That was the lone win for the Arizona Wildcats.
Which should be fair. I mean, if I recall,
do you have that? Do you have the last? Do you have the last play?
I do have the last play. Let me go ahead and I can pull that up real quick.
That just makes it more impressive what he did last year with everything that he went through. And if he played with an injured shoulder like that in the only win of the season for the Arizona Wildcats, I'm going to tip my cap to him even more. Here's that final play against Cal this last season.
Plummer to a knee, and that is it. It is over. Jed Fish gets doused. 20 games, 763 days between victories.
Wow.
And the Zoo will rush the field, and why not?
Yes,
a few people may get injured, but hey, that's what's happening.
So that's again, that makes that even gives you another angle to that we didn't even think about. The Will Plummer, if he had that severe of a injury that it's still lingering, tip your cap to him.
Refresh my memory here. Did he not have his whole thumb busted open to the point where it was bleeding, and he had to have the hand wrapped in it? So on top of the hand,
because he had to run back and get that fixed, and Jamari Joyner jumped in and played Wildcat in that game.
Yeah, so he had left, got that taped up, then came back out, probably then injured the shoulder, and still finished the game out because he, at the beginning of that highlight, he's the one that took the final snap.
Yeah, so that's pretty amazing. Spring game was a lot of fun. Sam Thomas was involved. She has signed a tryout contract with the Phoenix Mercury after catching this touchdown and being interviewed during the spring game.
And so we get to get some real football situations in, and we get to see some great plays.
They stole the play?
Okay, so they absolutely stole our play right there.
Is that Sam Thomas just scored a touchdown? But you know what? Did Adia give her that play?
This is Adia's play. Now, the crime of this is that it was for the other team that scored. But, congrats. Coach Adia.
How did Sam Thomas execute that play? I know it was for the other team.
Incredibly, she should play football. Are there any women on your team?
We've got time. There may be a penalty for 11, too many men on the field, but with Sam, it's still 11, so we're great.
Yeah, but they stole our play. Yeah, we don't.
So that Sam Thomas caught a ball in the spring game. So those are some of the big stories of the day. All right, coming up next, we'll have a conversation with Dave Hickey. Just a quick reminder. Program brought to you today in part by our friends at Trajan Wealth. We've been talking about them all day long. Listen, if you've worked very hard to take care of your family, to put some money aside for your future, work just as hard to protect that money. Listen, it'd be easy if you just stuck your money in the bank and it was there, but the financial market is crazy right now. Inflation. There's some places that you're parking your money and you're actually taking a negative return on the interest just because you're hoping that you're not going to lose that much of the value of the dollar. So if you just want to stick your money in the bank, that's not necessarily a good play. I don't know what is. That's why you need somebody you could trust, you can work with, you could sit down and you can look them in the eye and go, here's what I want to do. Maybe I've made a ton of money and I just want to protect it. Maybe I want to grow my money. Maybe I want to put some aside. Maybe I want to see the world. I need it to be liquid so I can go on a world cruise. Whatever you want to do, you sit down with folks at Trajan Wealth and they make your financial plans become reality. And if they don't get paid. They get paid by growing your investments and reaching your goals. They work for you. If you don't have that with your financial institution, you don't have that with your financial guy, or maybe every time you call, it's somebody different. Hey, what happened to Johnny? Yeah, he left. I'm Sam. I'm going to take care of things for you. At Trajan Wealth, you have someone you work with, you count on, you can visit with them face to face. They're right here in town. They're your neighbors. And most importantly, they're a full-service, privately owned, A+, Better Business Bureau rated company. Give them a call today, 321-4100, 321-4100. Go to TrajanWealth.com, TRAJANWealth.com. Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. All right, coming up, we'll have a conversation. Dave Hickey, that's next. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.